Hello big boys, Daddy's finally back, and we have a deck here that is very much worth our nipple hardness. So the big addition here, Supreme Phantom, it gives all of our spirits +1/+1. We also have Drogskol Captain, which gives +1/+1 as well. We have another addition in the sideboard, Remorseful Cleric ×3, so in total we have 7 new cards in the deck straight out of M19. But let's talk about Supreme Phantom and what it does to the deck, because Spirits have been around for a while, since Eldritch Moon really, and it's probably been the most underrated modern deck that wins some online tournament every now and then, but it's just kind of there and never really that heavy in the metagame. But anyone that's played Spirits will tell you that it's quite underrated. It's really strong, especially in the online metagame where we have a lot of fatal pushes, a lot more creature removal than in paper, at least it feels that way, and we have cards like Rattlechain to deal with that, Drogskol Captain, Spell Queller, so it's nice to have an answer to pretty much everything that you come across. It's very good, and it just got a whole lot better with Supreme Phantom. And to make Supreme Phantom worth it, we have Spectral Procession. For 3 white mana, it drops in 3 1/1 flyer spirits. So turn 2, turn 3. You guys get it? Turn 2, turn 3. Yes. And then we can also drop in Drogskol, and with 4 Phantasmal Images, we can copy these guys. And this card is really taking this deck to the next level, whereas this card just fits so perfectly in the curve. It makes Phantasmal Image that much better. It's just, I'm happy. I'm happy they printed this card. Very cool. Now, the big thing people are going to be asking about is why not Bant? Because Bant Spirits has had more success than Blue-White Spirits in terms of decks winning tournaments and stuff like that online. And the answer to that is I tried Bant, because honestly, I thought Bant would be better, but quite to my surprise, it just wasn't working, especially because I was trying to force Spectral Procession. But what makes it tough, though, is that the green mana thing, it isn't really a splash color, because you need it turn 1 for these guys. But then when you don't get these cards turn 1, you can't just completely skip the green mana because you have to have it by turn 4. Because what if you're about to hit 4 mana and you're like, I don't really want to fetch for a dual land because I'm taking too much damage from fetching, and I'm just going to play it safe as staying in blue-white. Well, you can't really do that, because if you top deck of Collected Company, you're going to want to play it. So you really have to force the 3 colors every game, and that deals a ton of damage to us. And we're talking like some games like 9 damage deltas from lands on turn 3. It's too much, especially in a deck like this where, as a flyer deck, we're going to be swinging at our opponent a lot, and oftentimes our opponent won't have a way to deal with the flyer, so their answer is just to swing in on the ground. So basically we'll be trading life totals, and that really favors decks with less than 3 colors. So I tried to get this deck to work, but there's just too many games where we either got mana screwed or we dealt too much damage to ourselves and we were vulnerable to aggro decks, and it just wasn't happening. Even though I really do like Collected Company, Supreme Phantom, Phantasmal Image, it got better than prior to M19. And something else I should probably mention, that a lot of people will say, well, if you don't want to take too much fetch damage, just put more of these lands in the deck. The lands that say if you control 2 or fewer lands, it comes into play untapped. Well, that's great and all, but worst feeling ever, getting stuck on 3 lands until you finally hit your 4th one and you pull one of these and you have Collected Company in hand. So Collected Company and this card don't mix very well, which means we gotta stick with the fetches, which also helps Collected Company because fetching thins the deck out, which means we're taking more damage, so there's no real way around taking damage from fetches. Yes, we could drop Spectral Procession, but it's a very good card. So in some, Bant Spirit just wasn't working for me. Maybe it works for other people, but I just couldn't get it to work. So that's why we're going with this version. It is quite good. Quite good. 1, it's easier to get this card off with 2 colors, and 2, the big solution here, there are some games where we take little to no damage from fetches or any other lands, because we have 4 Seachrome Coast, 2 Mystic Gate in case we get an island and want to use this to make the procession. The other thing, we have 4 Mutavaults here, which works poorly with procession, but as an alternative to paying 3 white, we could pay 2 colorless and 2 white on turn 4, which isn't bad either. And I can't stress enough how much superior this card is to Lingering Souls. So first of all, Mausoleum Wanderer, turn 1. Supreme Phantom, turn 2. Turn 3, you get this. This will make Mausoleum Wanderer +3/+3 until end of the turn. And if you also have Supreme Phantom out, that means you're swinging in as a 5/5 on turn 3 with a card that costs 1 mana. And if you play this turn 2 and this turn 1, that's swinging in as a 3/3 on turn 2. So this deck is very much capable of being aggro. But when it doesn't want to be aggro, it has plenty of backup plans with Rattlechains to defend against targeting spells, along with Drogskol, and also Spell Queller. So probably the best part of the deck is just its flexibility. Your opponent won't have one Silver Bolt that can take out this deck because the deck has so many answers to so many things. One good way to deal with creature decks like this would be to board wipe us, right? But we have 4 Selfless Spirits, 4 Spell Quellers, so very unlikely to get board wiped. They could pump their deck full of removal, but with 4 Drogskulls, 4 Rattlechains, and 4 Phantasmal Images to copy these cards, particularly the Drogskol Phantasmal Image copy, both will get hexproof, so even though it dies to targeting, once you have 2 of these guys out, it's over. They have hexproof. Your cards won't die to targeting. Well, that's pretty good. Also, if they're a non-creature heavy deck, Mausoleum Wanderers can sack, make it so your opponent has to pay mana equal to its power, which is very good because if you pump it up higher with this, and say you get to be like a 5/5 or 3/3 or whatever, that means they either have to pay 5 or 3 depending on whatever its power is. Otherwise, the card gets countered. So again, if they try and board wipe us and we don't have Selfless Spirit, we don't have Spell Queller, there's also Mausoleum Wanderer. Unless it's Supreme Verdict, then the Mausoleum Wanderer doesn't work. But you get what I'm saying though? It's a pretty good deck. It's a pretty good deck. Also, Mutavaults. Like I said, it doesn't work well with Procession, but Mutavault, very good card in the deck for the same reason why it's good in Merfolk. Right when you're starting to run out of creature cards, all of a sudden you have this big monster of a land out, because if you have Supreme Phantom and if you have Drogskol Captain, they pump this card. So pretty commonly you'll get this guy to like a 3/3, 4/4 in this deck. It's very good. Also, 4 Aether Vial makes the deck that much more explosive. We'll have a lot of stuff going on our opponent's turn because we have Rattlechains to make our spirits into instants, and on top of that, Aether Vial. And with cards with really insane abilities, having instant speed is very good. So instant speed, Selfless Spirit, instant speed, Mausoleum Wanderer, instant speed, Drogskol Captain. So many good things to do. But I'm starting to rant on about the main deck too much. Let's go to sideboard. We have 2 Path to Exile to start with. A lot of Spirit decks main deck these. I don't think it's necessary because our deck's now fast enough with Supreme Phantom that if there's like a Tarmogoyf on the ground, who cares, right? They'll be dead faster than we'll be dead because the deck is quite capable of being aggressive. Damping Sphere. One tough matchup for this deck will be Tron because we have a lot of permanents out. They could board wipe us with Ugin. Spell Queller doesn't stop their stuff, or most of it anyway. So Damping Sphere, not the best card ever made, but it delays Tron pretty well. Also, Blessed Alliance gives us a lot of options. One, the life gain, which is really good against aggro decks, and also opponent sacrifices an attacking creature, which if they have something like Death Shadow, pretty good to use against. Now, to start the interesting cards. Kataki, it is a spirit. Rex artifact decks, very hard. And again, Supreme Phantom, Drogskol Captain makes it bigger, quite good. Also, Remorseful Cleric, as I mentioned, is a spirit, deals with graveyard stuff, but even if they don't use their graveyard that game, still 2-1 flyer for 2 mana, not bad. But it works well against things like Snapcaster decks, Tarmogoyf, Storm. There's a lot of decks out there that use the graveyard, and being able to put this in as opposed to like Relic of Progenitus or Rest in Peace, being able to get in a bunch of damage with it is quite relevant because there's a lot of games where, especially against like Snapcaster, you're like, I don't really want to deal with the graveyard because I already have so many other cards from the sideboard coming in. It's like, it starts to dilute the deck a bit. But with this card here, you don't have to throw away your creatures to get rid of their graveyard. So very happy with that card as well. Also, Spirit of the Labyrinth, another spirit. It is also quite good. It says each player can't draw more than 1 card each turn. So against blue decks that draw a lot of cards, it is very good. And being a 3-1 for 2 mana isn't bad either. Probably my favorite card in the sideboard. Well, it's actually toss up. I mean, this guy's really good. This guy's really good. There's a lot of good ones. But Spirit of Labyrinth, very close to my heart. Like it a lot. All right, Eidolon of Rhetoric. You can use it against Snapcaster decks, but more relevant for Storm and combo decks like Counter's Company and stuff like that. Also, Leyline of Sanctity. Stops aggro decks, stop decks trying to discard us. Quite good to have. And also, Settle the Wreckage is not the best card ever. If we had to cut something in the sideboard, this would probably be the card to cut. But against explosive creature decks like maybe Elves, having this card, quite good. And one last thing to mention before we start, Merfolk. How does this deck compare to Merfolk? Because they're both tribal decks. They both have cards that make your creatures bigger. To be completely honest, I think this deck wins by far because it has the benefit of the +1/+1 stuff, just like Merfolk, but it has so many answers that Merfolk doesn't have. Merfolk a lot of times, and me being someone who's played Merfolk quite a bit, and I really love the deck and all that, but a lot of times it just feels flat. Like if you just have Lord Atlantis out, and it's the only card out, it's basically just a 2/2 for 2. This deck does what Merfolk does, but it has extra abilities, like Rattlechains, Spell Queller, It's a tad bit slower. It is 2 colors, but it has so many options. And I've been waiting for the day to revive my Merfolk deck, but in the meantime, this will hold me over. But enough ranting, let's get to the gameplay. But first, if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe, and also let me know in the comments what other decks you want to see. I have a lot of decks in mind for M19, but sometimes I read the comments and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. But without further ado, here's the gameplay, and I hope you enjoy. Opening hand seems pretty aggressive, so we will keep. Ooh, it looks like Grizzlebrand. Alrighty. Spectral Procession doesn't look like it's going to happen though with the lands, unfortunately, but we'll start off Aether Vial, pass back. And Mausoleum Wanderer is going to be really good against him, and should buy us a couple turns. Nice Whisper. And ooh, Spectral Procession might happen now at the gate if we pull another land next turn. Very nice. So best move, I think Selfless Spirit. We'll play it safe. Mausoleum Wanderer. Can always Vial this in next turn, so go with that. And opponent passes back, end of turn. Vial and the Wanderer. Come on, extra land. Boom! This shall be muy grande. Oh, and as an added bonus, boom! 10 damage in 1 turn. That's pretty spicy. And they just pass it back. Nice. Supreme Phantom. Ooh, Nourishing Shoal. I gotta think about this for a second. So what we could do is we could Vial in the Drogskol Captain and sack both Wanderers to keep this from happening, but he's only gaining 8 here, so I think it's better to keep the Mausoleum Wanderers in case he plays something else. We shall swing now. Vial on the Captain, and with 23 damage, that's the game. Okay, so going on to game 2, a lot of tough calls here, but I want to bring in all this. 2 Spirit of Labyrinth, 1 Rhetoric, 2 Pass, Blessed Alliance, 3 Remorseful Clerics, and dump all of these. These cards are pretty good against him, but we got to make a choice, and we're going to keep these instead. So with that, let's go to game 2. Opening hand, 2 sideboard cards. This will work. We'll keep nothing for this turn. Pass back, and now Remorseful Cleric. I wouldn't be surprised if they have removal for it, but might as well give it a shot. Faithless Looting. Dumping 2 through the breach is interesting. Now here's a bit of a tough call. We have Spell Queller. We also have Eidolon. I think Eidolon is fine. And then swing for 2, and back to them. Plays a land, passes back to us. And do you go with Phantom or Queller? We kind of need Queller. So let's play Mutavault and swing for 3. Opponent takes 3, back to them. Bontu's Last Reckoning. Well, we don't really want that happening. I mean, it's not the end of the world if we lose the creatures, but I think that's worth the Queller. Then if they kill the Queller later, though, that would be bad. And nice, Drogskol Captain. So, I think the best move here, Phantom. Oh, shoot, I forgot we can't play. Ah, no. I forgot this hurts us, too. Well, let's go Mutavault. So, opponent goes to 4, back to them. All right, so another Bontu's Last Reckoning. Might as well dump his graveyard with Remorseful Cleric. And now what we can do, Drogskol Captain, and use Mutavault to swing for 3. Opponent goes to 1, back to them. And there's the match. Cool. So, Spirits, a lot of answers to a lot of things, and it's pretty gangster. But on to the next match. Opening hand, can't keep this, so we'll mull. And Pretty iffy, but we'll keep. Definitely don't need a third one. Unfortunately, we have the Spectral Procession and an island, so it doesn't look like we'll be able to fire it off until late game, or not at all. So let's go Vial and pass back. Seeming Visions. Ooh, is this Storm? Looks like it. So let's go Aether Vial and pass back. Opponent plays Brawl and passes back. Okay. And another land. Well, we have Spell Queller if we need it, but let's just pass back. Slide a hand, sure. And Electromancer, I think that's worth spell quelling. Although they could have a bolt for it, but I do. Remand. Fine. Now we could go Spectral Procession and then these two. Yeah, I think so. We'll just play it safe. So now we have a bit of a timer on them and no plays from our opponent. That's fine. Oh, nice. All right, swing for 3. 3 in the air. No blocks on them. Now let's pay 4 mana this time to make it look like we have something in hand. Back to our opponent. Opt, sure. Slide a hand. Yep, nothing else. All right. And Mausoleum Wanderer. Well, let's swing for 6. Take it. And finish up with Mausoleum Wanderer and pass back. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Oh gosh, I don't really know what's worth taking out because he could have Grape Shot and target our guys, even if it's not a complete win right off the bat. He could wipe our board pretty cleanly. Do we stop it here? Because we can't spell call the Grape Shot because it gets copied. I guess we'll let it go through. Another one, sure. Ritual, do we stop that? I guess not. Oh man, I feel like I messed up here. I don't know. Opt, Pass in Flames. Okay, definitely Spell Queller that. Okay, and returns it to hand. That we can live with. Although he's probably going to get us here. We'll try recasting Spell Queller, but I imagine they have remand or something. Gifts ungiven. Ew. Alright, guess we let it go through. Let's see. So, I'm gonna dump Rituals, make him think he's safe. Manamorphose, yeah. Spell Queller comes down. Take that. Into this Pass in Flames, Vial and Phantasmal Image, copying the Spell Queller. We also have a Mausoleum Wanderer to interfere with what he does here. So I think we're okay. He could target this with something like a Unsubstantiate or something like that, but even then we could just use this, yeah. And our opponent concedes. Alright. Wasn't sure we were gonna get that one, but I think we're okay now. We have a ton of sideboard stuff to use against him. So going into game 2, I'm going to dump all these cards here to put in all of these. Spectral Procession is a little bit too slow. Selfless Spirit is not bad, but all these cards here are better, and Nebelgast Herald definitely not. We could put in Path to Exile for the Electromancer and Brawl, but giving them the extra land, I don't think it's really that worth it. So with that, let's go to game 2. Opening hand, this is pretty solid even though there's only one land, so we'll keep. I'm going to play Slide of Hand, sure. Start with Vial, pass back, Seeming Visions, and passes back. Ooh, so much to do here. Damping Sphere is pretty good. Spirit Labyrinth's pretty good. I guess go Damping Sphere. See if they have an answer to this. Probably not. Would they have Spell Snare? I don't think they would. Well, there's the instant concede. Alrighty, well, we would have gotten it for sure. I mean, Spirit Labyrinth, Remorseful Cleric, Damping Sphere, it's just like, it's too much. It would have been nice to play it out just for the fun of it, but with that, let's go to the next match. Opening hand is kind of asked. We want to keep it. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. Mishra's Bauble, and we'll attempt to go with Supreme Phantom, see if it survives. Spell Snare, no. Lightning Bolt, or Fatal Push. Thought Scour, okay. So it looks like Grixis Death Shadow. Opponent thought seizes the Nebelgast Herald, sure. And there's Death Shadow. Okay, so now we're in a bit of an awkward position here. What should we do? I don't really want to attack anymore until we can get in for the win, which wouldn't be too difficult to do. So we go Supreme Phantom, Selfless Spirit. Let's go Selfless Spirit. I think that's the best move. And back to our opponent. Opponent swing, sure. What the hell's... What? Oh, shoot. I thought he was just, like, draining his whole life. I kept seeing, like, -2, -2. I thought he had, like, some, like, weird card I'd never seen before. So we got a 14. And an Angler. Sure. So what to do? What to do? Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward position here. But I think the best move... It's kind of weird because of the land situation here, because it has to make double blue for this at the same time. So we have to hang on to Rattlechains, which means we have to hang on to this. Anyway, so I think the best move, not attacks, pass back. Thought Scour, Bauble. Opponent swings in. It's risky to not block because they could have another Dismember. But like my mama says, sometimes you just gotta lay down and take it. So let's do that. No blocks. So we go to 4 and we survive. Ooh. In response to that, Rattlechains. And now that we can play Spirits as an instant, we'll do that. So I think we're good, right? Yeah. Mutavault and Mutavault. And swing for big boy damage. Cool. So my mama did know best. So going in game 2, I'm gonna dump all this, even though it's pretty good stuff here, and put in all this because usually Grixis Death Shadow doesn't have all that much creature removal. So Rattlechains, we'll pass it up. We'll keep one in here though, but 3 of them go out. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. On to game 2. Opening hand. The lands are balls, but we do have a Leyline, so I am going to keep. Take that. Someone plays that, passes back. Pretty sure that's just a Thought Scour though. Well, Plains. It was a Thought Scour. Another Thought Scour. And with the life total dropping fast, I'm sure there's a Death Shadow there. Another Mutavault. Might as well go Selfless Spirit and pass back. Lightning Bolt. Sure. Street Wraith. And there's Death Shadow. Another one. What a big boy. Another Plains here. Even with the 2-color deck, we can't get the mana. Alright, well, we could use the Mutavault to block one of the Death Shadows. But then, if they kill the Mutavault, I don't even know. I'll just pass back. We'll see what happens here. But yeah, the block here could be iffy if they can pump, kill that. Because I really want to play this the next turn regardless. If they swing, oh man, they're swinging even with the Mutavault there. So, oh, they do have the land there. Okay, we're not going to block. So we go to 12. Ouch. Grim Lava Mass, that's pretty good. Alright, so Mutavault, play the Procession. But I think they're going to get us either either way. Dang, they dropped to 7. That would be lethal. Block 1, we block block 1. They ping themselves. Ooh, ooh. Well, so we're going to game 3. Pretty good. So going into game 3, I'm gonna dump 1 Spell Queller, 2 Selfless Spirits, put in 2 Remorseful Clerics and Nebelgast Herald. Knowing that it's Grim Lavamancer, I think this is a more important card than the Spirit, or Selfless Spirit, I mean. And with that, let's go to game 3. Opening hand, we still have the same issues before. There's no blue mana. Minimal. And yes, this is much better. We shall keep. Bottom. Start with the gate, play the Aether Vial, and pass back. Bauble, Street Wraith, and Blessed Alliance. Nice. So we shall play 1 Remorseful Cleric and pass back. And Thought Scour. Do they have an Angler? Doesn't really matter because they have Blessed Alliance. So we'll keep Big Boy alive. They do have an Angler. Cool. Aren't you a clever one? Supreme Phantom, alright. Might as well Violet. Swing. Opponent goes to 12. Back to them. Ooh. In the Bolt, sure. Why'd they wait to do that? That's weird. Faithless Looting, sure. What the hell wrong with this braid? What's white? Weird. Alright. Opponent swings. I imagine they have counter, but we'll try it. Will they counter? They're tapping it for a minute, and they let it die. Okay. Pretty sure they have something in hand, though. Yep, Death Shadow. Interessante. As far as the vial goes, I think we should put it up to 3, even though that could be risky. And another Remorseful Cleric. Ouch. Man, if we had kept that on 2. Oh, man. I think we should. Should we swing for 2 in the air? He's low enough where it might be a good idea. Yeah, might as well try it. Then Remorseful Cleric. Gosh, I wish I didn't put that up to 3. I mean, we could have easily just drawn like Drogskol Captain or something, and like, then I'd be kicking myself for not putting up to 3. Ooh. Darn. He might have the Teamer Battle Rage. Oh boy. Make him dump his graveyard. Ah, he does have it. What? He would have gotten it either way though. We didn't have our answer for Battle Rage. So, alrighty. Can't win them all. Opening hand. The curve is... So I don't know, 3, 3, 3, 3, and we don't have white mana coming from here. I think we got a mull. Yeah, seems a bit better. And ooh, keep that on top. Alrighty. Start with Aether Vial, pass back. An Adorned Pouncer. Interesting. So maybe like a white-black creature deck? I don't know. I mean, this is a league, so usually the decks in the league are pretty strong. So Supreme Phantom, pass back. And Liliana, let's see if they'll make a sacrifice. No, discard instead. Interesting. Oh man, I really don't have to discard because the land there for Procession. Drogskol's pretty good. You know, I think we just discard the Wanderer. Maybe the Captain. You know, let's get rid of the Captain, because it'll probably make us discard again, and we might lose. Well, I don't know. I'm probably going to regret that, whatever. Vial on the Wanderer, but my thinking is, I don't even know what my thinking is, actually. Another land. Well, grab an island, turn this into double white, play the Procession. Now we got a 5/5, so we'll kill Lily. Yeah, why did I get rid of the Captain? I don't know. I mean, the Wanderer did its job. The other option was dump the Wanderer. We weren't going to do that, though, because I could kill Liliana. I don't know. Tough decisions. Lingering Souls. Do we want to swap? I think we do. I mean, they can bring it back either way, but I think a 2 for... man, this is tough. I don't know, because Wanderer is pretty good. It's going to get bigger the more we play things. Okay, fine. We'll let it go. So many tough decisions. Opponent swings in. Sure, why not? And nice. Phantasmal Image. So, we'll play the image, hopping Supreme Phantom, and swing in for a sack load. And opponent concedes. Cool. So, going into game 2, I'm going to dump 3 Selfless Spirits, 1 Nebelgast Herald, to put in 2 Path to Exiles and 2 Clerics for graveyard stuff. And with that, let's go to game 2. Opening hand, definitely not. Oh, sure. Oh boy. Hope for a land. And we have like 23 of them, right? So, Inquisition. And it's still only 1 land. Land? Oh my gosh. Okay, pass back. Say Silence, sure. Why? Opponent plays Gideon. There's the land. And we'll play the only thing we can really play, which is Remorseful Cleric. Sure. Pass back. Liliana. So I guess maybe they're like white-black Gideons, because that's like a thing. So, okay. Another land, but it's a Mutavault. Guess we'll play it out, even though we're definitely losing this one. Opponent swings, might as well trade with token. Yep. So now we know they're a Planeswalker build. So I guess we accomplished something this game. And there's the land we need, but too little too late. So we're going to game 3. So the graveyard is not as important as I thought, so I'm going to dump 1 Remorseful Cleric for a Leyline of Sanctity. And with that, let's go to game 3. Opening hand, this seems alright, we'll keep. I like the Vial, this could maybe work if we get another land, or get the 4 lands that is. Vial, pass back, Shambling Vent, and another Vial. Well, they could have Stony Silence, so I think the better move here, just play the Phantom and pass back. Opponent passes back. Best move here. Let's go Phantasmal Image. To go Image. Nah, let's go Selfless Spirit. So we can get some removal out of him. Pushes in response to the push. Image, copying that. that. And pass back to our opponent. Opponent plays Collective Brutality. Well, let's sack it. Not that it really does anything with this, but now back on our turn. I think the best move here, turn Mutavault into a creature. Swing, let's see if a fatal push here. Yeah, but on the Mutavault, huh. So we'll Spell Quell that, even though there are much better things to Spell Quell. And then another Aether Vial, and pass back. Inquisition, but technically, the rules made it so that this has a current mana cost of 6 in hand. But anyway, land? Yes, land. So instead of swinging with Mutavault, we'll play this after we attack. Swing for 4, then Hallowed Fountain, play the Procession, and back to our opponent. What? You ho, you. Guess I should have seen that coming. Supreme Phantom, okay. Swing for 3. They do have a Shambling Vent, though, so you could get back some of this life, but I don't know, it's pretty hard to recover from Damnation. Gideon on the Mutavault, sure. Rattlechains. I guess we gotta kill the Gideon because they just ultimate it and get the emblem, so hit Gideon for 1, and back to our opponent. Another Gideon, makes that, and in response to that target, we'll Vial in Rattlechains. Alright, another Mutavault. Turn that Mutavault into a creature, and I think what we gotta do is swing both at this Gideon. And then 3 at the Trials one. And let's all go through. Interesting. I mean, we're 1 away from lethal right then. Alright, let's see how this plays out. There better not be another Damnation, though. Okay, this hoe prevents damage from that, sure. So that'll be quite problematic. Ooh, nice. So let's swing Gideon, Vial, and Drogskol, and back to them. So now they're in a tough spot. They either have to swing in, gain some life, but if they pass back to us, we swing in for the win. And if they try and attack, we have the Mutavaults as well, and they would be 4/4s each, so 1 for 1 trade, and actually not even a trade because it's only 3. So a bit odd. Do we double block? I don't really... Yeah, it's double block, just in case there's removal for 1. Maybe he forgot we had it. I don't really know what that was, but another Gideon. Getting another token, and Smallpox. Okay, so unfortunately, gotta sack a creature. We'll sacrifice Mutavault. Sacking a land, planes. See what we get here. Phantasmal Image. Nice. All at him. Then Image on the Drogskol. There's the game. Very nice. Wasn't sure we were gonna get that one, though, because that Damnation, that was tough to come back from that, but oh man, the Damnation and the Gideons, and it was like, nice, nice. So hooray, and on to the next one. Opening hand, I'd say this is quite good. Turn 1 Aether Vial, and possibly Spectral Procession on turn 3 if we can hit his 3rd white land. Yeah, definitely keepable. Start off with the Vial, pass back, Noble Hierarch. Now, unfortunately, unless we want to copy the Noble Hierarch, which actually might not be a terrible idea. Actually, no, it would be a terrible idea, because we can next turn the Drogskol Vial. So instead, let's go Flooded Strand, and pass back. Oh, looks like we're up against the Spirit deck. Interesting. Come on, land. Yes. The magic gods truly are smiling upon us. Back to our opponent. Opponent swings in. Well, guess what? Vial and Phantasmal Image, copying the Drogskol Captain. We could see a path to exile from them, but I'll assume not, and block with all 3 spirits. Arg. Fine. They all trade. A little too ambitious there. Darn. Full Rattlechains. So I think the best move here, just pass back. Selfless Spirit. Yeah, it's worth Spell Quelling. And opponent had a bit of a pause there, but we'll try Vialing in this. Hopefully it doesn't have a path to exile again. Nope. Alright, then we should be good. Nice. So now we shall swing with everything. They go to 12, back to them. Another Hierarch. But I'm pretty sure they're baiting. Oh, I thought they had Collective Company in hand. Never mind. And they put... Oh, okay. I mean, they could have done that as an instant, but whatever. So a lot of options here. I think the best one, though, not attack with Mutavault, and instead put in Selfless Spirit, and then swing for 5. So they would have just chump blocked anyway, so it doesn't really matter if they have that or not. It's not like they need the mana or anything. Opponent passes, sure. And that's going to be lethal unless they do something here. Collective Company, but here's a Spell Queller. So we're going to game 2. So going into game 2, I'm going to dump 3 Rattlechains for Settle the Wreckage and 2 Path to Exiles. Now the tricky thing is that if they have Phantasmal Image, we can use Rattlechains to kill it, because if they use Phantasmal Image, copy a spirit, then we can target that spirit with Rattlechains, and that kills Phantasmal Image. But I don't know if they have it, because Bant sometimes doesn't run that many, maybe only 1 or 2. And we did see Cavernous Souls, so that makes it less likely that they have a bunch of them. So I think I'm going to dump all 3. I mean, it's a bit of a toss-up. I mean, we do have the Nebelgast Herald also to target. And maybe we want to dump a 4th one for Blessed Alliance. Nah, I guess we're fine as is. Alright, dump these 3 and on to game 2. Nothing about this hand is keepable. We'll mull. This isn't that great, but we'll keep. Bottom, Mausoleum Wanderer, sure. And oh goody, another land. Play the Flooded Strand, back to our opponent. Opponent swings for 1, alright. And passes back. So I'm pretty sure it's a Rattlechains. And that it is. Oh boy. So it's kind of a tough call here, because we could copy the Mausoleum Wanderer, and when this comes to play next turn, we can swing in for 4, but there are probably a lot better things to copy than Mausoleum Wanderer. So this feels pretty bad, but I'm just going to play that tapped and pass back. Also, we got to watch out for that Mausoleum Wanderer, because if we play that, they counter it. This is not going well. Drogskol, okay. So now it's going pretty well. So best move here, Phantasmal Image, copying Drogskol, and back to our opponent. Opponent swings with everything. Ooh. I think that's too risky to block, so no blocks. Now, unfortunately, they could sack the Mausoleum Wanderer to stop this, but we're kind of screwed either way at this point. So let's see if they maybe pass up the chance, or maybe they'll try Spell Quelling it. Collective Company. Well, we die either way, because that is a lot of good stuff. Yep, and they counter it. So we're going to game 3. No changes to sideboard. Opening hand, not great. but not terrible either. Nah, we'll keep it. Hallowed Fountain tap, pass back. Opponent plays Mausoleum Wanderer. Back in our turn, let's go Selfless Spirit and pass back. Another Mausoleum Wanderer, and opponent swings in, no blocks. Path to Exile, okay. Back in our turn, let's go with Drogskol. Will we see path? Nope. And swing for 3. Opponent takes 3, back to them. Drogskol, nice. Opponent swings for 6, no blocks. So tough call here, but instead of pathing this, because that could lead to Collected Company next turn, I think it's better to go Drogskol. Or actually, I have a better idea. Let's go Mausoleum Wanderer, Phantasmal Image, and then swing in for 7. Alright, back to them. Selfless Spirit. So we don't have to worry about Collected Company, but could still be Rattlechains there. And Phantasmal Image. Well, we can't let that hit, so we'll go for the path. I imagine they'll sack it though. That they do. That's fine. Buys us some time. Now here's where things get kind of weird. We could block, sack, but I think it's better to be aggressive here, especially with Drogskol Captain. Oh, but they do have Selfless Spirit though. I don't know. Mausoleum Wanderer, pretty good pull. So Wanderer, another Drogskol. Man, this is going to be really tough. What do we do? Because we can't attack with everything because he could just block. Go down to 3, sack this. That would be bad for us. But if we wait, he could get Collected Company. He could use this. There's a lot of other things that could go wrong. So maybe instead, do we go all 3 there? Yikes. Is that the move? Yeah, let's go with that. Dang, this is going to be really risky. They're taking their time here. It's a really complicated block. I would have liked to attack with all 4. But then he could just chump and sack. There's just a whole lot going on here. Blocks like that. Okay. So sacks to make indestructible. We could sacrifice this to save this, but I really want to put him at 2 with this. So I think it's worth taking the hit. We'll just go through like that. They get a 2. Now we can sack this to save these guys if we need to. And opponent passes back. Ugh, land. Okay, I think we just got to go for it. Everything swinging in. Collected Company. Yep, so we'll sacrifice one of these. That still pushes lethal. And on top of that, they can't fetch for a white unless it's dual land, which would kill them. So no path to Exile. So I think we got it. And got it, we did. Nice. Man, that was pretty close. The attack last turn might have been the most complicated attacker blocker situation I've seen. It was, you just had to think 2-3 turns ahead, like what could happen, like what happens if they did this, what happens if they did that. And it's like, for a minute, I didn't think we had a way out, but then it was pretty gangster. So how do we tie all this together? Well, I would say that Blue White Spirits has always been underrated, and now more than ever. It can play offense, it can play defense, it can win quickly or it can win slowly, it can disrupt your opponent or it can go straight for the win. I think that's the fun of the deck, is that you can play a bunch of matches and each one feels completely different. Maybe I'm a bit biased because I love Spirit so much, but it definitely seems to have an answer for everything. I don't know, it just feels really solid all around. Spectral Procession, I really do feel like it's a way above Lingering Souls. Just getting that extra Spirit on turn 3 possibly does a lot for the deck. Being able to stick in 2 colors and not go into that 3rd color really helps with keeping our life total high, as we saw with the Bant Spirit matchup. It was a really close game 3. We barely got it with 5 life, and I feel like the biggest difference was that we only had to fetch for 2 colors. They had to fetch for 3. When we're taking turns swinging at each other, it really favors us being in 2 colors. I think the deck's pretty good. There could be some variations of it. Nebelgast Herald, I guess we didn't really see it, but it has potential because if you drop Herald and then go Procession, that's 3 of your opponent's creatures you can tap. But maybe that can go because it does kind of hurt the curve a bit because there's a lot of cards that cost 3 in the deck. But overall, I'm happy with the way things worked out. But that's all for now. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And as always, I hope you have a great day.